Hey, it's me, Jacoby. Another Monday, another Raw. Let's get right into it. CM Punk opens up the show, and Old Man Punk is there, but your OTC isn't. He makes sure everyone knows that. He calls Roman plastic and fake, and CM Punk is dangerous and authentic. That's why he doesn't get to go on the late night shows. Punk also says we should probably lower WrestleMania prices. That's pretty based. But did Triple H just tell him to say that because no one's buying tickets? I show Speed's back. He's never going to leave. He needs Uncursed by Danhausen real bad. He's begging him, and Dan says, I'll do it for your mansion. Speed obviously declines, and Pierce says, dude, you have to go home. You just got to get out of here. Go home, dude. And Logan Paul and Austin Theory say, come on, let's go fight. So the Division brings Speed out for their match. We have Austin Theory with Logan Paul and I Show Speed versus LA Knight. This whole thing's a cluster, all right? So Logan Paul takes Speed and throws him into LA Knight. LA Knight chases Speed up the ramp, right? Speed is in between the Usos and LA Knight. Speed, being the athlete he is, jumps over LA Knight, and he gets cornered by all those boys. In this confusion, Austin Theory pins LA Knight. I really don't know how that happened, but it did. And then Speed's screwed, but Logan pulls him out of the ring. Vision gets to the top of the ramp. The Usos and LA Knight say, Pierce, WrestleMania, make it happen. And Pierce goes, told you should have gone home, Speed, because you're going to WrestleMania now. The next match is Finn Balor versus JD McDonough. Finn is coming out, doing his intro, and Dom attacks him on the ramp. There is no match. Dom and JD just beat him up with a chair. Backstage, AJ Lee is getting interviewed by Michael Cole. Big Time Bex comes up and bullies Michael Cole out of here. He's a loser. And Becky tries to bully AJ Lee, but then AJ Lee says, hey, sweetheart, without me, there would be no women's wrestling, and that's why I'm your daughter's favorite wrestler. All right, now we have Bayley with Lyra versus Lash Legend with Nia Jax. Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair, they come out and they try and get involved. Lots of girls out here. But ultimately, in the end, Lash Legend was trying to slam Bayley off of the top turnbuckle, and Bayley reversed it and pinned Lash Legend. Now, Lyra held her leg down and cheated, but it's okay because the bad guys already cheated earlier in that match. Our boy Seth freaking Rollins has returned after 6 months, half a year, no Seth Rollins. He's back, he's ready to kill the Vision, and he wants his belt back. And he wants to know why Gunther is working for Paul. He asks that, and Gunther comes out and starts beating him up. It's pretty fun. The officials have to separate them, but then Gunther goes backstage and goes, hey Paul, you owe me. I'm not doing this for you. I just don't like Seth. But you owe me. Stephanie Vaquer gets a video promo where she absolutely cooks Liv Morgan. She says, did that blonde box dye go to your brain? Liv says, where I'm from, it's on site. Steph says, where I'm from, you don't see it coming. And she also says, Dom has daddy issues. He's not going to fix yours. So she kind of cooked her. All right, now we have a match with Los Americanos versus Penta, Dragon Lee, and Javon Evans. This match is awesome, but it's just a bunch of setups for not the Americanos. All three of our boys, they do ring dives out of the ring. They all come back in and do the little Penta walk. You know how it be. Cyril Miedo, you know. And then again, all our boys hit big finishers. Lee hits a Hurricane Rana out of the ring. Penta hits a Mexican Destroyer on the ring apron, and Javon Evans hits a massive OG cutter off of the top turnbuckle. After Javon hits that, he pins, and they win. But then Rey Mysterio comes out and he says, what if I joined your ladder match, Penta? That'd be pretty cool, huh? I'm gonna do that. Io Sky and Rhea Ripley, Mommy versus B-Fab and Michin with Jade Cargill. Io and Rhea win this match, but afterwards, the Storm is unleashed and the Storm has more numbers. Rhea Ripley is held against her will and is forced to watch Io Sky get executed with a kendo stick. It's pretty brutal. It's like some torture stuff. It's wicked. No bad. It was bad. Finn Balor does a little video, and the Demon's coming back for WrestleMania. It's totally happening. That's happening. In the Judgment Day Clubhouse, Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez are talking about what they're gonna do about Stephanie. And Stephanie runs up out of nowhere and pushes them, and I swear to God, I heard their heads hit. I think one of them died. And then Liv gets thrown into a television and blows up the TV. And then we have the contract signing for Obafemi and Brock Lesnar. Obafemi goes to get in the ring, and Brock Lesnar goes, rah, and punches him. Fight breaks out. No contract gets signed. The credits did roll early. They rolled when Oba was walking out. Whatever, not a big deal. But yeah, that was Raw. Tons of setup for WrestleMania. You know how it is. See you next time. Hello, lovelies. My name's Jacoby. Another Tuesday passed. Another NXT happened. Let's get into it. Tony D, the new NXT champion. He comes out and he says, look at me, I'm the champ. No one can stop me. Not even Joe Hendry. Summons Joe out. Joe says, dude, I should have won. You know, if we 1v1, I win. And then Ricky Saints and Ethan Page come out and do the exact same thing. And then, wouldn't you know it, Dark State, they're scaring people. So Dark State shows up and scares all of them off. They all get in a huge fight. Huge fight. It goes backstage. And Robert's like, boys, you know, the good guys, the title guys over the main event, get your gear on, because you have a tag match versus Dark State. After all of that, we have Izzy Dame versus Sol Ruca. Izzy Dame's got the culling with her. Doesn't matter, because Zarya shows up and spears Sol Ruca. Izzy Dame doesn't care how she wins. A win's a win. She rolls Sol Ruca into the ring, pins her. 1, 2, 3. Izzy Dame wins. Afterwards, before they cut to commercials, Zarya is standing over Sol Ruca like, oh, I got you. You know how it is. Wrestling. Robert Stone has a meeting with Blake Monroe, but the Vanity Project shows up coincidentally, and they made a belt for her, a new North American Championship belt, even though Tatum Paxley's the actual champion. But, you know, Blake will always be the champion in our boys' eyes. And then Robert says, okay, well, that's a fake belt. If you want a real belt, let's put you in the tag division. Pick someone from Vanity Project and let's get you going. So she picks Jackson Drake, even though Ricky was all like, what about me, mama? You know, didn't work. But anyways, their opponent is Shiloh Hill and Tatum Paxley in a mixed tag team. And afterwards, Ricky Smokes and Brad Baylor are like, happy for you, man. They are not happy for Jackson. Elio LaFleur is sad that he blew up his shoulder and he's got to relinquish his belt, but it's okay because he's got 2 new dudes coming in, Dorian Van Duch and EK Prosper. So I'm sure they'll be pretty entertaining to watch. Now we've got a big guy triple threat match. We've got Josh Briggs, Jasper Troy, and Keanu Carver. Keanu Carver wins the match, but a lot of big dudes throwing big dudes. It was fun to watch. Shiloh Hill and Tatum Paxley are flirting backstage, and Blake Monroe comes up, and Shiloh says, hey, we need to distract her with some tinfoil, you know, like a magpie or an octopus. She likes shiny things, right? That works. But after they're done cackling about Blake Monroe, they talk about how much they hate Jackson Drake, her tag partner. And while they're laughing about that, Ricky Saints comes up and says, why are you two so weird and always laughing? I don't get it, weirdos. And then Shiloh cooks his ass. Remember that tag match I was talking about? We've got, which one? We've got Dark State versus Ethan Page, Ricky Saints, Joe Hendry, and Tony D now. At the very beginning of the match, Tony D is fighting the entirety of Dark State. He fights them all off. He goes to tag in Joe Hendry, but Ethan Page says, no, I got it. Dark State tries to jump Ricky Saints like they just did Tony D, but he's too easily and slips away. He's so goofy. I love him. Joe Hendry at one point is laying on the ropes, and Dion Lennox comes up and cracks him real good. It was a fierce one, and then Miles Bourne immediately comes out of the crowd and takes out Dion. And now that Dion's out of the picture, Tony D picks up Shooker and gives him a slam, and he gets ready to pin him. But while he was slamming him, Ethan said, I tagged you. Tony goes for the pin. He's not legal man. Ethan comes in and punts him, and Twisted grins Sugar and steals the win. I mean, it's a tag win, so it's a win's a win, but you know, Tony didn't like that, so he pulled off the biggest choke slam I've ever seen and put Ethan down. Jada still has beef with Kalani Jordan, and she says, clock that. Next, we have a speed qualifier match between Lexus King with the Birthright and Chaz Starboy Hall. That guy's cool. Flipping and flying all over the place. He's wearing overalls, short overalls, kind of wicked Cali boy, you know? But whatever. Lexus hit one move, his finisher. I think literally one move, and then pinned Chaz. So Miles Bourne is talking to Robert Stone because he's a little in trouble after, you know, he interfered in that match. Tony D comes up and says, let me fight Ethan. I want to fight him. And Robert says, okay. And then Tony D and Keanu Carver give each other the, you know, you're a big tough guy. Oh, we're scary. All right, now we have a match. Mixed tag, Tatum Paxley, Shiloh Hill versus Blake Monroe and Jackson Drake. In the very beginning, they do a tug of war over the real and fake NA championship. Blake and Tatum do. Blake goes flying when Tatum lets go. Haha, so silly. Jackson Drake then tries to give Shiloh a bunch of chops, and Shiloh says, haha, no. Puts him on the rope and chops him on the rope so hard that he bounces. It was painful. All right, and then Jackson Drake tries to tag Blake Monroe, but Blake says, no, I'm not going to let you tag me in. So then Shiloh tags in Tatum, so she has to go in, blah, blah, blah. Then Shiloh and Tatum both put their opponents in matching little, I don't know. Someone tell me what it's called. Little starfish submissions in the middle of the ring, and then they toss them out. Blake Monroe gets caught by Brad Baylor, of course, and then Jackson Drake just gets thrown on the ground, and Ricky's like, my bad, bro. My bad. I'm sorry. Shiloh Hill gets his tooth kicked out by Jackson Drake, but while we're trying to wrap this match up, Tatum Paxley is up on the top rope trying to jump off. Brad Baylor goes up and, oh, I'm going to distract you. She kicks him off. Now that both the Vanity Project is out there, Charlotte dives out on both the Vanity Project and takes them both out. So now it's really just Tatum versus Blake and Jackson. She tries to set up something with Blake, but Jackson gets in the way. She takes care of Jackson, and Blake won the match with a glamour shot, DDT. All right, Lola Vice, our new women's NXT champion, she comes out. She's got 2 belts. She's got the NXT belt, and she's got the mixed tag AAA belt. Her belt has a belt. She's so swaggy. But basically, she comes out and she goes, actually, MMA to wrestling was really hard. I didn't think it would take this long to get here. Then JC Jane comes out, and the boos are so loud that JC can't even talk. But essentially, she says, I want a rematch. And Robert Stone says, you get one at NXT Revenge. That was NXT. You know how it goes. Always stuff happening. We got another pay-per-view next week, I guess. I don't know. What did I miss? What do you want to see at the pay-per-view? Hit me up. Thanks for watching. Did you catch SmackDown last night? It's okay. I did. I watched it all, so I can tell you about it like it's my job or something. I'm Jacoby. Let's just say things got very nice and very evil last night. Let's get into it. Before we can even get to the building, Cody Rhodes and Jelly Roll want to know where Randy Orton and Pat McAfee are. And Nick says, guys, you're not allowed to touch them. You're not allowed to touch them. Not my call. The bigwig said it. In the ring, we get Rhea Ripley on the mic, and she says, Jade, come out here. You hurt my EO, and you're going to pay for that. And EO comes out, and she says, Rhea, you get Jade at Mania? I want her tonight. Nick Aldis comes out, and he says, okay, I'll make it tonight's main event. Bayley's in her hometown tonight, San Jose, California, and she's with her buddy Lyra Valkyria. She's got a match against Alexa Bliss, and Charlotte Flair's with her, too. The crowd does not like Alexa Bliss tonight. So Bayley's just competing in the match, and Charlotte says, why'd you hit Alexa like that? Throws her jacket at Bayley. Bayley gets all caught up in her jacket, and Alexa Bliss takes advantage of this and pins her. And that's the match. She lost in her hometown. Womp womp. All right, we're in the clinic. Carmelo Hayes hurt his knee, and that's how he lost his belt. Ooh, he can't compete anymore. Matt Cardona's in there cheering him up. And then Trick Williams and Lil Boat show up, and they bully Carmelo Hayes for getting hurt. And Matt Cardona is like, I'm sick of these guests just they could do whatever they want. I want to fight you, Lil Boat. Drew McIntyre does a video promo where he's in jail, and he's like, oh, bet you're used to this, Jacob Fatu. Like, okay, remember that's gonna come up again. Jacob Fatu is getting an interview, and Solo Sikoa comes up and says, hey, dickhead, you're making the family look bad, so you're gonna fight my dude Tama Tonga. Yeah, so Berto from Los Garças has a match. He comes out with Angel, and he has Royce Keys' debut match. Royce Keys is very strong. He does picks him up and slams him in like one fluid motion. It's pretty wicked. And then he does a spine buster, 1, 2, 3. Royce Keys is very strong, very scary. Look out. Pat McAfee shows up, and he thinks he's untouchable at WWE right now, and he keeps going, hello governor, thinks he's all British for some reason, keeps doing that. Jelly Roll comes up and is like, I don't work for WWE, I'll do it, I'll hit you. Pat McAfee shows up, and someone gave this guy a mic, and he comes in, and he is getting booed real loud, and everyone's like, boo. And he's like, hey everyone, I got 25% off of tickets at WrestleMania. I did that, not Phil. He collects his merch check every week. I'll be the heel if I have to. I'll do it. Cody Rhodes is sick of this. He's had enough of this, so he comes out, and Pat goes, American Nightmare. Like, yeah, okay, grow up, dude. And Cody's like, dude, no one wants you here. Go home, shoo, get out. And Pat goes, dude, you were born into this, you Nepo baby. I was born to be here. We're different. And that makes Cody real mad. So he takes his shirt off and he gets ready to fight. And then Randy FaceTimes in on the Megatron, and he says, I got Jelly Roll. I got him. And I'm going to DoorDash him to you. So he picks him up and drags him over, and he goes, here you go, Cody. And then he running punches him, and they just beat him up. That's what Pat and Randy do. They beat people up, and then they steal Cody's belt. They get in the truck and drive off with his belt. They take it. So there's now. The Miz and Kit Wilson are pissed about Dan Angler and his arm getting cursed, but Nick Aldis is not having any of it. It was just a simple cramp. And when Kit Wilson tells Nick to wake up to this curse business, it's official. Kit Wilson versus Danhausen, and Danhausen's first WWE match. Jacob Fatu fights Tama Tonga, And let's just say Solo Sikoa is next. But Jacob can't have anything because Drew McIntyre comes in and gets him. He gets him. And then Drew just starts beating him up, puts him in chains. He hangs him up over the top turnbuckle. He's like, how does it feel to be where you belong in chains? Remember, I told you that would come back into play. And he starts spanking him with the leather belt. Like, no thanks. R-Truth does an ESPN ad to Danhausen. Then Damian Priest comes up and gets confused because R-Truth isn't confused about who Danhausen is anymore. So he's not Asuka anymore to R-Truth. And then Damian gets confused because R-Truth is gaslighting Damian. Whatever. Rhea Ripley throws B-Fab into the wall and that breaks that up. 1 down, 1 to go. Sami Zayn loves the fans and he's never going to change. And he comes out and he asks everyone, why are you booing me? And Trick Williams and Lil Boat come out to tell him why. And it's because the fans are tired of him. And Trick says, can you walk the walk? The whole time Lil Boat's hitting ad-libs like, yeah, can you? Ooh, ah, ooh. Pretty devastating. Lil Boat says, Trick's gonna take your belt, bro. Watch out. All right, this leads right into Matt Cardona versus Trick Williams, who's with Lil Boat. Matt Cardona lands an unprettier, which is Chelsea Green's move, his real-life wife's move. Oh, cute, so cute. Sami Zayn is there watching the match. He hops up on the apron, and Lil Boat pulls him off the apron. Sami Zayn gives him a haluva kick over the barrier. He eats that. In this chaos, Trick Williams lands a trick shot on Matt Cardona and pins him and wins the match. Danhausen versus Kit Wilson. The Miz is there. Kit Wilson is up on the top turnbuckle. He's about to jump on Danhausen. Danhausen, pyrotechnics from the turnbuckle go off. Oh no, Kit Wilson got burned. Dan goes to the corner. You are cursed. Kicks him. 1, 2, 3. Danhausen wins. Was it a curse? Was it a failed pyrotechnics? I don't know. Jade has her match with Io Sky. She can't find her minions, B-Fab and Michin. Rhea took them out. Real good match. Long, hard fought. Io Sky does lose. Jade tries to do some damage after the match, and Rhea Ripley has to run out to save her and defend her. That was SmackDown. There's no way I missed anything. What did I miss? Let me know. What's going to happen at WrestleMania? What's going to happen on Raw? You tell me. Send this to someone like this. Thanks for watching.